Give me a minute to give a brief about you, sir. It
Sure,
is
sir.
my great, it is my great honor and my privilege to introduce Mr. Rajasekharan AH. Mr. Rajasekharan is a founder CEO of Robotics International and co-founder of Excelmove Dynamics Private Limited. He is researcher on self-driving cars, OpenCV, robot operating system, IoT in robotics, Arduino, and Raspberry Pi robotics. Mr. Rajasekharan, a robotics trainer by his profession. He completed masters in electronics and communication systems from Anna University, India. He started his entrepreneurial journey in 2016 as a passionate robotic trainer. It gives him extreme satisfaction in training students and seeing them reaching full potential in advanced fields like IoT, robotics, and AI. He is having 15 plus years of rich STEM experience in companies like Wipro Technologies, iGate Global Solutions, Ensoft Consulting, SDN, BHD Capgemini Private Limited, both locally and internationally by building his internal capability and agility in his profession. He led with many STEM learning activities and robotics trainings for school, polytechnic and university students, engineering faculties, faculty development program events, and corporates in national and international level events. The courses he developed have been approved by Singapore MOE. Malaysia HR department has approved his trainer profile to teach IoT and robotics to institutions approved by HRDF Malaysia. As an international STEM expert, he conducted international workshops for the University of Makati Manila, Philippines, University of Kuala Lumpur, Ceylon Club, British School, Singapore India Association Singapore, and Science Forum Saudi Arabia. 75 plus institutions are following his curriculum and 20,000 plus students have enrolled for his courses since 2016. Recently, the robot developed by him and his team for academic purpose called SARA, that is STEM Advanced Robot for Academics, for learning robotics was selected to get represented in the International Robotics Summit. The same Sara received several other international awards in the category of Best Robot to Learn Robotics. Sir, really, it is a great honor of us to have such a brilliant developer as a resource person for this faculty development program, sir. Sir, now I request you to enlighten us by sharing your real-time experience in the role of robotics and artificial intelligence in Industrial Revolution 4.0.
Sure, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much for the introduction. So my screen is visible.
Yes, sir. It is visible, sir.
Okay. All right. Oh. So good afternoon, all of you. So happy Teachers Day. I hope most of you are educators here. So wishing you all a very happy Teachers Day. And let's start with this session. Like it's the topic is like the role of robotics and artificial intelligence in Industrial Revolution 4. So my audio is clear?
Yes, sir. It is clear.
Okay. All right. Thank you. So before jumping into this, AI or robotics, let's have a 5 to 10 minutes discussion about, or 5 to 10 minutes about the industrial revolution. Right from 1 to 4. So let me, talk something about this. Okay. So when would you call the industry has been revolutionized, right? So when people find that in this particular area there is a huge opportunity. Okay, so right now everybody are talking about AI, IoT, machine learning. So they started thinking like, okay, these are the areas that is going to create lots of job opportunities in the future. So these are the areas that right now we need to focus, and this is the profile that we need to select. So this kind of idea that comes to us, right? People like us, and this time we call it as the industrial revolution, right? So there's a sudden boom in the job market, and there will be once the lots of job opportunities, then there is a change in lifestyle economy, then there will be abundant growth in terms of the personal and professional life. And that particular area, there would be increased population. Suppose assume that the Tesla is coming in one of the city in India, and they are going to hire thousands of people. So there will be suddenly people start coming into that, because of the interview starts, then sort of so many people will come, and it's giving opportunity for thousands of other people. So you will be able to see that sudden increase in the population in that area, and also the change in the policies because of this new adoptions that are happening every day. So this is what that leads to say that industry has been revolutionized, right? Similarly, when we talk about this IR1, okay, so this is the first invention actually which created the job opportunities. And here you can see that Hargreaves, which is the spinning jenny, right? So this one they have started using in textile weaving, etc. Then comes this steam engine, yeah, James Watt steam engine. So this particular invention actually has led to many other, in terms of its applications. Right. So this is another thing that happened in the Industrial Revolution 1, which actually created all these things, the sudden boom in the job opportunities, etc. Then this is a steam power loom in weaving in textile industries. It has helped. So like this, and during the process, okay, so during this steam, all these things, like they also found out coal, right? And later coal is then converted to iron. So all this process actually paved the way to different applications, example steam engine, boats, trains, etc. So that actually concludes Industrial Revolution 1. So these are the inventions that happened in Industrial Revolution 1. And you can see that because of this large factories that started coming, created job opportunities, the lifestyle change, the food supplies, then textile industries, transportation. Then also during the phase, the medicine field, they started curing diseases like smallpox, etc. And what are the disadvantages? Yeah, because the business owners, they are doing good, but the average families, they will be struggling at that time, like no education, no proper system in place. So what happens, like 5-year-old kid also had started working, something like a child labor, then arrogant rules from factory owners, then there is no policy for employees. So the working environment is dangerous, unhealthy, dirty, etc. So yeah, so these are the advantages and disadvantages of Industrial Revolution 1. Then in Industrial Revolution 2, you can see there are some notable inventions. They are like steel, electricity, telegraph, oil, telephone, car, aeroplane, elevator, radio. These are the notable inventions that happened from 1870 to 1914. And this actually, again, gave lots of opportunities. And this created a buzz in the, in all these areas. So because of this, there is a change, like in the people started relaxing with dance, music, fun, sports, entertainments, amusement parks. So there is like a classification in the profile categories. 5% are like high profile, then the middle class, then below middle class, etc. And literacy started increasing. The government has started, implementing schools and colleges for education. So the conclusion is like the lots of the job opportunities in electricity, the radio, telegraph, telephone, chemical industries started coming. So all these, like focusing towards the world economy, and people started migrating from one place to another, capturing the market. So as you know, like there are no proper systems. Because of that, international rivalry started, and that's how World War I had started. after this 1914. Then, yeah. So the third one is the digital revolution. So we all, we would have started our career maybe in this IR3 about, electronics, the chip, right? Then the computers, the communication, internet technology, then the nuclear energy, right? So all these like for IR3. And now the next one, which is like IR4, some of the top giants in this industrial revolution 4 would be, IOT, artificial intelligence, robotics, big data, data science, automation, blockchain, etc. Right. So, what is the difference between IR3 and IR4? Nothing much. In IR3, you can see that a CNC machine that actually need a human intervention, but right now machines do not need a human intervention. And in terms of technology, you can compare the internet speed. Like those days it were like something for like KB or MB, but now you can see the 4G has come and 5G is going to come. So you can also see that the difference in the mobile phones, right? 20 years back, or 20 years back, we would have used 3310, but today, people are with some advanced mobile phones, the new gen phones, right? So these are the changes that happens between this IR3 and IR4 in terms of technology. Okay. And in IR4, these are some of the important points that I've taken the compound annual growth rate of particular industries right now in IR. So Ericsson, which is actually a telecom network service provider, they actually provide the this telecom service providers. They assist this telecom service providers like Airtel, etc. So they are actually into this networking. They support these companies. So what they are expecting is that because of this IoT, they are expecting to reach 3.5 billion in 2023, and they are expecting this IoT to grow at a growth rate of 30%, compound annual growth rate of 30%. They are expecting to grow. Okay, so 30% is something which is huge. Then the AI systems are expected to grow for 37.3%, according to Forbes analysis. Then we have the global machine learning market. That one is growing with 44.1%. Then the big data analytics, 28.9%. Then the robotics industry is growing with 20.4%. And already, most of the big companies, they have started scaling up, and they have industrialized and automated using machine learning. Even a small business owner is trying to bring AI in his operations. Assume it's just a normal a training provider or a trainer who is running his training academy in his city. He is running a classes, and he has got his website. So people are visiting his website. So he is actually using the AI technology in converting that the person who is visiting his website into his potential customer by using a AI chatbot. Okay, the AI chatbot actually talks to him, and it collects all the data which is needed, and it also replies whatever he wanted. And during the process, it also collects his email ID and mobile number, and that is what needed as a business owner today who are running. It could be a small business, or he could be self-employed, whatever it may be. This is what is needed in today's business marketing, right? So everybody are slowly moving into this AI based systems, and that is why, like, the compound annual growth rate is changing tremendously. Now let me come back, slightly related with the education right now. The first question is like, are we prepared to face this tech giants in IR4, right? So the question is like, maybe the industry might be demanding something, okay, but are we, or our students ready to face this tech giants, right? So you must be knowing it. And do you think that the 12 years of school and the 4 years of engineering studies are enough to get into IR4? This is the second question. And the third data what I got is like, there are like 3.5 million technology jobs, okay, that will be added at the end of 2025 in US alone. But more than 2 million jobs are expected to go unfilled due to the talent shortage. Okay, the mismatch between the the learning or the student who is coming out from the college and what industry is demanding, right? So what happens to that 1.5 million jobs, right? So this is the thing that we need to seriously think about. Then in India, 85% of the employees say K-12 students are not prepared for the fourth industrial revolution space. So how are they going to get there, right? So especially in India, parents, right, they would think about their kids' career only after checking out their 12th standard marks, right? So before that, they wouldn't even care or think about what he wants to do. I'm not talking about all the parents. I'm just saying it's 85%. Okay, so 85% of the parents, they think that uh, the decision has to be done after the 12th standard. Okay, so according to me, this is wrong because at a very early age, we can find out their area of interest and we can groom him in that particular area or what is her interest. Accordingly, that we can groom them, and at the very early age itself we can train them into that particular thing. And the plus two is just for them it's like a bridge to get into that next level. So the parents need to adopt this thing where they need to start training their kids at a very early age. They need to find out what he is good for and what is going to be his career and what is there for his future, right? And accordingly we need to mold and we need to train these students, so that if assume that a student who is really good in programming in his school days, if they have found out this area of interest, then easily he could be put into the computer science background, and in the 4 years of computer science graduation he would definitely go forward into the next levels, and definitely he will be able to get placed in the one of the giant what we are talking about in the industrial revolution. So that is how the training methodology needs to be, right? So instead of that, people want or parents want their students to try both, try medical and try engineering both, and which one is more at that time you can decide. So this strategy needs to be changed. So that's what that fourth point. So this is how what we have found out right now, the education right now for IR4. So as we all are educators here, so definitely it's our responsibility to change, these kind of, the system, and as like, we all like doing the same thing, right? And let's try something new for the upcoming engineers, and let's create innovators and future experts in these fields. And we need to simulate the students' brain power for this, this additional learning and for taking up the challenges. And we need to use the technology as an enabler to put the students into this, and by using the value of technology, right? Yeah, so let's create the value and reshape this Indian education system. So the reason why I am talking, or why I am telling these things, is like I'm associated with so many institutions, with universities in India and outside, and with so many like schools, polytechnics. So we are trying to change the education system where student needs to learn everything with a practical pedagogy, in that whatever is being taught, that needs to be done practically, right? For example, even if your student is writing an algorithm for a self-driving car, if he is writing an algorithm for a lane detection or the steering prediction, we want that needs to be learned using a practical approach, right? So that is the change that we are trying to bring up in the education system. So there are like so many tools available to simulate it, but once if they execute it online, then they wanted to implement it in the practical way, they would face hundreds of challenges. It is not going to work. Okay, so in the laptop screen it works, but when you want to implement it in a real time, it doesn't work, right? So because there are like different hardwares that come into the picture, and he needs to be, if he needs to be an expert, he needs to know all these things. It's like a 360-degree thinking. So in simulation, if you are good at coding, yes, it works. But again, you will have to change your coding things in the real hardware thing. It is not going to work as same as like what you have done in the simulation environment. So these are the changes that the educators, they need to observe and try to teach the students with the way that the difference between the real time environment and just learning it through a theoretical, or it could be a simulation way, right? So this is what we are insisting in the institutions, right? So now let me give you a small introduction about robotics and what are the robotics industries like right now. They are most popular, and yeah, and also a bit of AI. So let's dive into robotics. A robot is a machine that is programmed by a computer, which is capable of carrying a series of actions. So just using our coding, that we are going to make the robot do some tasks. So a robot can be compared with a human, right? So it's like, human has got sensing organs. A robot will have senses, and we actually can move. We can move around. Similarly, robots will move using the motors. Okay, and we have brain, and robot will have its controller, right? So this is the way that you can relate it with human. Our sensing organ senses, and it informs the brain, and brain informs us back what to do, right? And similarly, a robot, the sensing organs will sense, and it finds out what's happening in the environment, and it informs the controller, and controller informs the actuators what needs to be done, right? So just a comparison with a human. And if you go back to history, uh, in 1921, there is like Karl Kapek, who actually coined the word robot, right? So he started using the word robot in his short stories, and also in his language, in Czech language, robot means it's a forced labor, right? And then Isaac Asimov started using the word robotics, and in his short stories, he started writing about robotics. Then the movies actually started coming from these short stories, these fictional stories, right? So Asimov's optimistic opinion, like he also had proposed three laws in robotics. One is the robot should not harm any human being, and robot should obey the orders given in the instructions without conflicting the first law, and the robot should protect its own existence without conflicting the above two laws. So these are like some of the laws that has been proposed in his short stories and all. So yeah, it's just a small. So we let us look into some of the pretty common robotics, in the industry, and these are the robots, actually are very popular in the industry, and they are used in industries for different applications. And definitely, these are the things that which is also going to create lots of opportunities in the future for the students. So the first one is pre-programmed robots. So these robots actually they operate in a controlled environment, and they do not need any human intervention. Just if the switch is on, they will continuously do the job. And this, but these robots are used to do a particular job only one job. Okay, for example, it can either do a welding, right? Or just moving from one place to this thing or something like that. It can make only one job, but it can do it repetitively. Okay, so it can repeat the job 24/7 unless the robot is switched off. So this is an example. So, you could see that these robots actually repeat the task and there is no human intervention needed. And this is what we call it as pre-programmed robots. So the next thing is humanoid robots. These robots actually, they look like humans and they mimic the human behaviors. You can see they can do human activities like running, jumping, carrying objects, and they look like us. They can also do human and facial expressions. So the common two most prominent examples that I have put here, Sophia and Atlas. So we can see these examples now. Is the video audible?
Sir, it's not
No,
audible.
Oh, is it? Okay, 1 second. Is there anything I need to share for audio sharing?
You have to include the computer sound, sir. Whenever you are sharing it, you have to include the computer sound. You are sharing the screen, na?
Yeah.
So whenever you are sharing the screen, there is an option, include the computer sound. Please minimize that, sir.
Okay.
The option is there in Teams, sir. MS Teams, not in this.
Where is that option?
Once unshare the screen, sir. Unshare it.
Okay.
Then you can start sharing, sir. Whenever you are starting the sharing, so the entire screen needs to be shared, no? Then it will ask you the option.
Okay. Okay. Yes. Now is it audible?
Yes,
Yes, sir, it is audible.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. It is audible.
Please welcome all the way from Hong Kong, Hanson Robotics, Sophia the robot, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my goodness. Hello, Sophia.
Hello, Jimmy.
Wow. Long time no see. You were on the show before.
It has been exactly 575 days since I last saw you.
What have you been up to?
Not much. Let's see. I traveled to over 25 countries, appeared on the cover of Cosmopolitan magazine, met German Chancellor Angela Merkel and the actor Will Smith, and became Twitter friends with Chrissy Teigen. I addressed the United Nations and NATO, became the first robot to receive a credit card, and became the first robot citizen. What have you been up to?
Not 1/5 of what you did, but I just binge watch Netflix. Anyway.
Yeah, so that's Sophia. So these are examples of humanoid robots. So next we are going to see the teleoperated robots. So these robots are like which needs human intervention. Humans are actually going to control the robot. So everything can be controlled by us. So let's see some of the examples. So these robots, you can see that this is most common robot in academics. You can see that in every college robotics lab. Just using a Bluetooth module is controlling the robot movement. So this comes under this teleoperated robots. They many you can use a mobile app or you can use a computer keyboard, etc. to control the robot.
He showed us how the robot moves. The robot makes its way over the bumps and easily rolls through the round pipe. So it travels through the pipes. It's a bit like how a mole digs through the ground. The Takumi controls the robot with ease.
So the next one is augmenting robots. So this is another industry where this has got a bit of biological factors and mechatronics. It's like we are actually enhancing the human capabilities. Okay, so this particular augmenting robotics industry help human to get back what they have lost. Maybe that could be their hands or legs, etc. But this particular technology will help them to get it back. Okay, using a prosthetic limbs, which is artificial limbs that will be connected to the body, and using that, people can actually just work like the normal thing, like they have got hands or legs. Okay, so this is one area, and there are also several applications inside augmenting robotics. It's like exoskeletons. Okay, this exoskeleton is a robot suit. People, those who wear that suit, they will get that that power to lift the heavy weights, etc. So these are like different applications that come inside augmenting robotics. So the actual how it works, there is electrodes implantation that will help to pass the electrical signal. And once this bone cells that grows, right, that will be connected with the artificial limb or the prosthetic limbs, and through that the microprocessor will get the information. What your brain thinks, that information will come to the microprocessor, and accordingly it will process and it informs the actuators what needs to be done. Okay, so let's see some of the examples.
I'm an MIT professor, but I do not design buildings or computer systems. Rather, I build body parts, bionic legs that augment human walking and running. In 1982, I was in a mountain climbing accident and both of my legs had to be amputated due to tissue damage from frostbite. Here you can see my legs, 24 sensors, 6 microprocessors, and muscle tendon-like actuators. I'm basically a bunch of nuts and bolts from the knee down. But with this advanced bionic technology, I can skip, dance, and run. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Tilly and I'm the first teenager in the UK to get bone accounts. So the arms are controlled by my muscle sensors and there's sensors on the inside, so whatever I do with my muscles, I can control the fingers. So if I squeeze the muscles, they'll close, and if I flex, they'll open. And then they have 4 different grip modes, which makes it a lot easier to do, hold different types of things. So they've got like just a normal close like that, or they've got a grasp. I would also like to use that as a thumbs up.
Robot Suit HAL, or Hybrid Assistive Limb, allows its user to easily lift a 40-kilogram Duralumin case, like this. Now, look what happens if an elderly person who has been bound to a wheelchair wears the suit.
So initially, these were there in the fictional storybooks, and later it came in the fictional movies. And today, in real life, this is possible because of the technology, right? So I was talking about that robot suit, a person who was, picking 45 kg weight just like that. Okay, so it's just because of the technology. And those days, these were fictional, but in today's life, this is real. Okay, so that's how the technology is changing every day. So next we are moving on to autonomous robots. So these robots, they actually move around in an industry warehouse in carrying objects from one place to another. Okay, so the coding, the programming will be done where it has to take, and from where it has to take and where it has to keep. Right. So all these instructions will be properly given already, and once the robot is switched on, it carries the objects from one place to another. And another example here is like a self-driving car. Self-driving cars also come under this autonomous robots. So let's see some of the examples.
This is insane. This is the future here. This is
So it can go on
unbelievable.
paved or unpaved surfaces.
So he's on the beach right there.
Yes,
Now he's just
yes,
he's off-roading a little bit.
Through the water.
Through the water. Come on, get up to the top, buddy. Can he do it? Can he do it?
He can do it.
So you can see that now these are the examples of autonomous robotics industry. So all these industries are like, they are making a very good turnover. There are like so many startups, and also there are big companies. So these are the areas that our students, they should focus on. And most of these things could be explored, at least not in a big level, but they can start their basics in their college level itself, right? For example, autonomous robot, that they can do it by themselves. They can try it out with different sensors, controllers, with the motors. They can try, and the coding is not that difficult for them. Definitely, once they start exploring, it would just come handy, and they can complete projects like this. And if you take self-driving cars also, nowadays, like most of the things are available online, although it may not be like in a step-by-step way, but they can refer multiple blocks, and different, there are like so many courses that are available, and they can enroll into that, and they can learn themselves. So what we have to suggest is like they need to start learning these things if they want to get into these areas, right? So even just using a simulation tool, they can simulate a prediction, a steering, handling, and the lane detection or traffic signal classification. So example, so these projects, they can start working with a little knowledge of basic coding knowledge. They can explore these things. So this is what we need to give confidence to the students to start learning something additional which is not there in the syllabus. They need to explore these things, and definitely if they are going to highlight these things in the resume, that will give them that added advantage to get placed themselves in a big companies, right? So all these areas, whatever I told, this humanoid or this autonomous robot or augmenting robots, all these things could be explored. If not in a big way, at least with the basics, if they are clear, if they are very, they are confident with the knowledge what they have, definitely they could get placed. So what we found out is, in the curriculum, what is being right now available online, there is not a progressive learning. So they are available in bits and pieces somewhere. They need to refer multiple blogs, and they need to refer multiple videos. If they want a full complete curriculum for any learning, especially in advanced robotics curriculum. Okay, for example, you take robot operating system. So robot operating system will come into this industry in the next 10 years. They are going to dominate. So if you want to bring things like that, then they will not be able to find out things that much easier. So we are trying to come up, and we are already delivering everything in a sequential and progressive manner, where it will be a step-by-step curriculum. Just start from the basic Arduino LED blink to using AI algorithm or machine learning algorithm in robotics. So that is how we have built our curriculum, and we are giving it to the students. And in this process, like, he will be able to get or save so much of time, and he will be able to master the subject within a very short span of time. And definitely he will become one of the expert in robotics at the end of all these learnings, right? So that's what we are trying to bring to the students, and we are trying to bring it to the university students, right? So one second, I'll come back to this. Yeah. So basically, we start from Arduino, then we bring IoT, then we are using Raspberry Pi, then we bring machine learning, AI, robotics into the robotics with lots of DIY project examples. For example, using IoT, you can build an Alexa, you can build a Google automated home, something like that. Then there are like multiple projects, like even you can design a small a car where you can bring in the self-driving algorithms into that. And you can use OpenCV library, AI library, and you can explore with the Raspberry Pi. You can play with that. Thousands of projects can be done using, what I have shown, that 4 levels. It is like Arduino, then IoT, Raspberry Pi, then AI, machine learning. You can also use ESP32, which has a Bluetooth and Wi-Fi controller. So things like this will make them explore more and more, and they will become a master in this. They would explore most of the sensors available. They would explore most of the processor controllers. So this knowledge will help them definitely to achieve the success in their career. Okay, so this is not that easy. You need to have that basic interest and that basic knowledge. At least you should be knowing the little basics of Python so that he can get into AI, machine learning, robotics. Raspberry Pi can be done, and ESP will also support Python. Like Arduino supports MicroPython. So if they have a basic knowledge of Python, that should be sufficient. And if they can spend 15 to 20 hours to learn Python, that is more than sufficient. So this is what the confidence we have to give to the students, right? So yeah. So as a big fan of practical learning, we do not want anything to be. We have designed a 316 hours of curriculum for AI and robotics. 316 hours of curriculum. It's for a government of Kerala. We have given it here. So in that, even 1 hour we are not teaching theory. Okay, we are giving all the 316 hours of practical exposure. So that is how the curriculum is being done, right? So one more, yeah, here, yeah. So what's in the future? I told you that collaborative robotics. So that is using this robot operating system, where the robotics companies, they can work from different places and they can work on a single project. Okay, they can they can take a single project and they can outsource there and here, and they can come up with a product by sitting in different places. This is called as collaborative robotics. And after 10 years, if you see, there may not be robotics, it could get some other name. So that is how the technology is changing. So to get into that today, we need to teach this basic to the students if they wanted to be in this place. So, and also you can see that in every departments, AI or robotics they are going to come inside. Example, education or manufacturing, automobile, agriculture, healthcare, everywhere in every industries, robotics or AI and automation systems will come inside. So definitely, the knowledge what they are going to get from here would definitely help somewhere in their career, right? So let me also give a small introduction about AI. Right? So this is the AI block. So you can see that I'm going to tell AI in a nutshell for the next couple of minutes. So these are some of the technologies they are actually dominating in AI. Okay. So sir, I think the previous sir also, he was discussing about these topics. So you can see AI in a nutshell. You can see that first one I'm talking about speech recognition. As I compared robotics with a human, this one also I'm just comparing it with a human. Speech recognition is just understanding the language. Next, right, the NLP, right, is like reading and understanding the language, right? So that one we call it as NLP. Then we have sorry. So then we have computer vision. So computer vision actually helps to find out what's happening around us, right? Which actually has an eye. So this will help the system to find out what are the things that's happening around, and accordingly it can make the decision. So the next one is the robotics. So robotics, yeah, same thing, sensing the environment, and according to that it needs to act. Then there is a neural networks. It's like something like a brain, or it's a neuron made up of neurons, which actually carries the signals, right? So then we have deep learning. If you take neural networks more complex, and if you go deeper, then that one is again deep learning. Then you have machine learning. So machine learning, again, it helps to predict the future with the past data. So then again, inside that you have supervised and unsupervised and reinforcement learning. So this is what AI, and these are the hot topics that are being used in the industry. So each and everything has got their own libraries, and they have got their own frameworks. Okay, and they got their own platform. So using that, if our students, they can learn few of these libraries and how to implement, and if they can develop something using that, they will become a master in these areas. All these things are not that difficult. So this is the thing that we need to tell the students, that they need to explore these areas, and if they are exploring all these areas, then definitely they can get placed in Industrial Revolution 4, and that's how the industry is right now, right? So with that, I think I have given a brief introduction about robotics and AI, and I've related it with Industrial Revolution 4, I hope. So thank you for coming on this Sunday, and also open. It's open for questions. So if anyone would like to ask questions, we can discuss.
So much, sir. Giving a brief about robotics and how this is going to rule the future. You clearly explained everything. Thank you so much, sir.
Yes, sir.
Dear participants, if you have any questions, please unmute yourself and you can ask the question. Sir, I hope they got clarity, much more clarity about the concept, because you explained the concept as well as you showed the real-time video, how it is going to work, explaining. So, being an academicians, we need to follow your approach, sir, because you explained one slide, thereafter you showed some video, again you go for another topic. So like that, you clearly explained the how it is going to implement, not only in the theoretical part, you explained with the application orientation also. Really, we are very much glad to have you, such an experience and expert in doing some robotics, and you already working on STEM education. You have several patents. So we are very much happy to have such an eminent personality in this faculty development program, sir. So from Sri Vishnu Engineering College for Women and from the Department of CSE, from the bottom of our heart, we'll convey our thanks and regards for sparing your valuable 1 hour. Even in this Sunday, you spared the time for us. Really, it means a lot for us. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for the opportunity. I would like to thank Dr. Kiran also. Kiran, sir, thank you so much, and the management for the opportunity to discuss with the educators. So thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, sir. Bye, sir.